Hi guys, welcome to tonight's class. Some of you were brave enough to join me for the new class, Brave Sculpt, before this. If you did, that was fun. Today's class is number 18, the playlist on Spotify. If you press play now, it does have a 4 minutes of silence as the first track, so just letting you know that so you don't think that there's no music. And if we can just find yourself on your back on the floor, I'll stay sitting up just to guide you a little better. And you can find any position on the floor that feels better for you, whether you have your knees TP'd together or out to the side with feet together in butterfly pose. You can find a position where you can start to close the eyes and just focus on the breath. So we're focusing on Viloma, a type of pranayama or yoga breath, which means against the grain. And it says that because you inhale and exhale in 4 sections. So I'll run through it together with you, and we're only going to do it on the exhale, not on the inhale, because that's quite complicated. And if you want to work towards that, you can do it on both as you get better. So we'll take a big calm breath in, nice and even. And then a long breath out. One more slow and calm breath in. And then breathe out 1/4 of your breath and pause. 2/4 of your breath, pause. 3/4, pause. And then 4/4, all of the breath. Take a big breath in. Again, exhale 1/4, pause. 2/4, pause. 3/4, pause. 4/4, exhale everything that's left. Inhale deeply. And now taking 3 more of these in your own time. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Last round. And now letting your breath just return to the natural breathing. If it feels okay for you to continue the Viloma breath, please do. If it feels more restful for you to just breathe naturally, then do that. The point of the yoga pranayama is to be engrossed in the breath, to become almost obsessed in that moment, in all of that sensation around the breath, to pull you into the present moment. In the yogi philosophy, they believe that in the present moment that there is no past and future, therefore there is no suffering. And the suffering that we endure is only a concept of the mind, of focusing on things that we have done or have seen in the future that we cannot change, or things in the future that haven't happened yet, which we also cannot change. Gently start to blink open your eyes, and if you're on your back, maybe bring your knees in towards your chest and give yourself a little rock from side to side. Starting with core, interlace the hands behind the neck and head, elbows up towards the roof, shins parallel to the floor, flex the toes, take an inhale, lift head and shoulders up off the floor. And then we're going to exhale both elbows to the left knee, but we're going to get the elbows to touch the knee and then straighten the left leg almost fully onto the floor, so it's just lifted off. So get the elbows pushing into that knee. And then exhale other side. So we're keeping the elbows to the middle rather than crossing over, but we're pushing the elbows into the knee and the knee into the elbow, rising those shoulders off the floor. Point through the feet. Breath in, swap. So for people, if you do have issues with your neck, you can just come down and do the normal twist if that is too much for you. We're taking longer holds and breaths. Swap sides. Exhale, elbows push into the knee pushes into the elbow, and this pushes the lower back into the floor and makes the core work way harder. Keep that left foot flat towards the floor. Don't have it so high up. Ross, lower it down a little. Yeah, it's going to push the lower back into the floor. Swap sides. Push the elbows into the knee, right leg almost on the floor. Now that is so we're pushing that lower back on the floor so it doesn't rise up. One more each side, swap, exhale. Push them into each other. Hold that head, but don't pull the head so much that there's pain. Other side, last one. So we're lifting with our core. We're not pulling our head up with our hands, okay? Shoulders are off the floor because the core is working, not because we're crunching our head up. Come back to center, straighten the legs. Windscreen wipe from side to side. So when we do our crunches, we're not pulling our head forward. Our core is lifting us up so our shoulders come off the floor. The hands are just to hold the head. Little rock forward and back. Come back to the floor, feet on the floor, tickle the backs of your heels, and we'll come into a bridge. Interlace fingers behind the back, push into the floor, roll the shoulders open. Option for one-legged bridge. Push through the left heel, raise that right knee in towards the chest. Option to stay here or extend the legs straight. Another option, because you know I love options. We're going to just do little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7. That floating heel is going straight towards the roof, really strong. And hold. Last pulse. We hold up, bend the knee, drop the leg. Option to stay up if you're working on strength or to come down. Then get ready through the left leg. Bring the left knee into the chest, raise it up, flex the toe. Option to keep that knee bent or to straighten the leg. Option pulses. 3, 2, 1. Hold up on the last one. Then bend the knee, lower down, lower upper back, middle back, and lower back to floor. Turning down the music. And then from here, we're going to do our last version of crunches. Same thing, we interlace the hands behind neck and head. We're going to bring our elbows to our knees, but both of our knees at the same time. So we're using our core to raise our shoulders rather than just yanking our head up. So if you removed your hands, you would stay here. It's just supporting the neck. And then from here, you're going to straighten that right leg out to 70 degrees, but keep everything else the same. Elbows are coming up to the center, not to the side. Then swap legs. Keep them in contact. Other side. Elbows and knees are pushing together. Swap. We have another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Dropping neck and head. Should be feeling a little bit in the core there. Folding, going forward and back. If the rocks don't feel good, you don't have to do them. Just come back into a plank in any way that feels nice for you. And if you're in your planks, you can also choose different options, coming onto your elbows, coming onto your knees, hands. If you're super strong, you're going to play with raising one leg or the other leg. And then we come into our chaturanga. So lower the knee for the first one's always good. Bring the chest forward, elbows suck in beside the body, slowly lower down. Exhale. Breath in, upward facing dog, roll shoulders back, push the lower upper feet into the floor. Tuck toes, push back, downward facing dog. Now walking out the legs here, we're going to take it slow. We're going to bend the right knee in and push through that left heel. And hold for a couple of breaths. Other side, so we bend the left knee, we push through the right heel. So we're really stretching through the back of the hamstring and the back body. One more each side. Bend right knee, left leg straightens. Wrap those shoulder blades around so you're not bunching up near the ears. Last side, bend the left knee, right leg straightens. Look between the hands, step the feet between the hands. Fold forward over the legs, bend the knees as much as you need to place your hands on the floor. Inhale to flat back, halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend through the knees to slowly curve up. Hands come through heart center, reach up, breath in. And exhale to fold. Inhale halfway, unfurl the spine. Exhale, hands to floor. Option to step or to jump. If you're jumping, you try to control the jump as much as you can with the core and the pelvic floor. Coming into a high plank, option to lower the knees, or chaturanga down to 90 degrees in the elbow, flip the feet and come up. The quads rise because you're squeezing the glutes and the quads so much. Otherwise, the knees can rest on the floor. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. A nice way to see if your position's in the right spot is to come into a plank and check if you need to move. If you do need to move your hands or your feet, it means your down dog needs to be wider. You should be able to move from a down dog to a plank without moving. So let me just show you what happens if I get too close. I actually can't go into a plank because I'm way too close. So just have a play there. Come into chaturanga, coming forward and down chaturanga. Inhale, come up, upward facing dog, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, down dog. Look between the feet, relax neck and head. Maybe make little movements with the head, little nods or shakes of the head, yes and no. Maybe create some space between the jaws so the teeth are not clenching together. Inhale, the right leg rises, breath in. Exhale, sweep between the hands, rise up, crescent lunge. So with our crescent lunge, you can get as deep as you like through that leg. You can rise high if you're finding this a little intense. If you want to get more into flexibility, you can lower down. Hands are up and you wrap the shoulders. I bend my elbows because that relaxes through the upper shoulder because this is way more stress in the shoulder and this is more relaxed. Exhale, warrior two. We turn the back foot out, gaze towards the front middle hand. The chest is in the middle of the body. The hands are out and you're gazing towards the front finger. You're not turned towards the front. That's the difference of warrior two. Get deeper into that front knee. Maybe lift the toes on the front foot. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Step back. Choose your option to flow. So high to low plank in any way. Inhale to upward facing dog. Maybe the knees are down or up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out through the legs. Loosen through the jaw. Maybe have a little smile to yourself because you made it to yoga, which makes everything better. Inhale, left leg rises up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Inhale, raise, low lunge, crescent lunge. Challenge to come a little deeper and straighten through that back leg. If that feels quite intense, you can bend the knee. If you want to open through hip flexors, you can straighten the leg. It'll increase the stretch and the flexibility. Exhale, warrior two. We pivot that back foot down, gaze towards front middle finger. Chest is to the center of the body, so we're not leaning forward or back. It's in the center. And we gaze towards that front middle finger, raise the toes on that front foot. Relax through the shoulders, let them down a little. They don't need to be all freaked out and stressed. You can just be a little soft. Wiggle the fingers. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Step back and flow. Knees up or knees down, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Bend through the knees if you need to in your down dog. I had a chat with someone recently that it changed their life when they realized they could bend their knees in a downward facing dog. So this is what my down dog looked like for about 2 years. My legs were definitely not straight. So you don't need to have them straight to start. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Flip front palm, reach forward, reverse warrior. Paint the ceiling. Option to traction out the lower back on that left side. Now release the neck and head. There's no reason to look up or no need. Straighten that front leg, come back to center, reach forward, Trikonasana, triangle pose. So we reach forward to get space through the spine and then tilt and reach that top hand up. Again, neck and head just be soft. So there's no need to gaze up. You can bend through that supporting leg a little bit and that front knee if it's too hypermobile or if there's any pain. Now squeeze the feet together almost so you get length to lift up. Bend that front knee, hands come down to frame the front foot, step back, head flow, high to low. Inhale to up dog and exhale to downward facing dog. Breath in, left leg up. Breath out, step between the hands. Rise up, breath in, crescent lunge. Breath out, warrior two. Breath in, reverse warrior. We reach forward, maybe a bind, maybe a back traction. Paint the ceiling, relax neck and head. Stay deep in that front knee. So sometimes when we go to reverse, the knee comes out of the deep bend. So try and maintain that. Coming back to center, then start to straighten that front leg, reach forward, tilt forward, and come into Trikonasana. So if there's pain in that knee or you feel like there's a lot of pressure, just bend it. This is going to protect the joints. But what also we want to do is lift and squeeze the feet together so that these legs turn on. We don't want to just dump down. So if you are grabbing the ankle, pull up. So you're also using your core. Bend through that knee, hands come down to frame the foot, step back and flow. High to low. Breath in, up dog. Breath out, downward facing dog. Push through the heels. Maybe a breath in, come up onto tippy toes and exhale, push through heels. We go a little faster. Breath in, right leg rises. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Maybe there's a bind. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose. We hold this one and then we bend, come into extended side angle. This one we hold a little longer. This one, you want to make sure that your hips are under the body, that the bum's not sticking out. This is because we're opening the hip joints here. Resting on that front quad, reaching the top hand up, but not resting so much that you're literally doing nothing with your core. I want you to just be resting, just a little bit. Exhale, hands come down onto the floor, pivot onto your back foot, easy twist to the right. Come into a fist with your hand. This gets rid of extension of the wrist, so it straightens through that whole body there to give your wrist a break if you're feeling a lot through the dumping into the wrist. Hands come down to frame the front foot, step back and flow, high to low. Breath in, up dog. Squeeze the glutes and breath out, down dog. Breath in, left leg rises. Breath out, sweep between the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Get deep into the legs. Exhale, warrior two. Breath in, reverse, maybe a bind. Exhale, straighten that front leg, reach forward and down, Trikonasana. Bending through that front knee, extended side angle, resting on the front quad, reaching up through the top hand. Again, how much are you leaning onto that elbow? Can you just brush it there so your core's actually holding you here? Lift the toes on the front foot. Relax the neck and head. Exhale, that right hand comes down to the floor, pivot onto your back foot, come into easy twist to the left. Come into your fist or your spider fingers with that right hand. Hands to floor, step back and flow. Choosing your option, always cool to lower the knees to the floor or do the cat-cow variation that I've showed you before. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pedaling out the legs. Taking a child's pose if you need it. If any of this is intense, you can just come to a child's pose whenever you want. Inhale, that right leg rises. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Rise up into crescent lunge. Exhale into warrior two. Straighten that front leg. We come back into Trikonasana. But we come now into a twisted Trikonasana. If you do have a block, which I just moved my block. Can you grab me a block, Rosso? You can place a block on the inside of your leg to twist over to the side, which is a nice option. Thank you. Twisting over to the side. If you've been doing yoga for a while and you have the full twist, the hand goes on the floor or on the outside of that right foot. Taking a little bit of a closer step in is also going to help you. And twist to the side. A block also on the outside of the foot feels great. Much better than on the floor. It's quite intense. One more breath. Exhale, gently releasing that top hand, bending through the front knee to come back to center. Turn both the feet to face the sides of the mat. Hands on the sacrum, thumbs in the sacrum, fingers around the hips, elbows back, squeeze the glutes. Little back bend, breath in, and exhale to fold forward. over the tops of the legs. I like to move my legs out a little wider here. Now, you have a couple of options. You can inhale through chest and exhale to fold, just having your hands under your face. Or you can interlace your fingers around your big toe and push your thumb into the floor and use that to pull yourself over your legs. Inhale to lengthen through spine and exhale to fold a little more. So we grow length through spine before we fold. A little bend in the knees is absolutely fine and encouraged actually to protecting that joint. Releasing the fingers, hands come onto the face, breath in halfway. Exhale, Skandasana to the left. So we're sinking down into that left leg and pushing that right foot into the floor, and the right feet, toes are going up towards the roof. Couple of options. You might be up here, and that's fine, or you could be on the floor a little closer down. If you want a bind, it's here for you. Relax the neck and head. And just do what feels good. If this doesn't feel good, then just stay supported. Inhale, gently walk the hands to center, and exhale to the right. So that left foot goes up, and maybe you can come low so that both heels are on the floor, or maybe you're a little higher up. It doesn't matter as long as you're feeling the stretch through the back of the leg. If you want to bind, you can also take it. It can feel quite nice with practice. If it doesn't feel nice, it's probably not the right move for you. Use your hands to gently walk yourself back to center. Elongate through chest. Move your feet a little closer together. Hands to hips. Take a breath in. Exhale, bend through the knees. Slowly roll up. And turn both your feet to face the back of the mat. We're going for pyramid pose. Step halfway in. So there's about 2 feet space between your 2 feet. And your hips are on train tracks, so they're not like this. So from here, if you do have a block, super helpful. It's okay if you don't. We're going to put our hands on our hips and reach forward, but we're tilting from our hips rather than our spine. My back is straight. If you do have 1 or 2 blocks, you can pop them on the floor. Otherwise, you can just fold forward over that front leg. If your hands touch the floor, that's great. That doesn't mean you have to be looking this way. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold. A little micro bend in that front knee is okay, but we want to avoid that rounding in the back. If that's happening to you, it's better that you keep your hands on blocks and extend forward and down. One of my favorite poses is coming up. I'm joking, it's not my favorite. Pyramid twist. So we're placing that block just in line with that right foot. I'm going to reach forward long through the chest and twist over towards the left. So you can also do this on the floor. So that hand comes to the floor as you twist towards the left. It can be on the inside of that left foot or on the outside. Obviously, that's a lot harder and a lot deeper. You can also do either option with a block. Release neck and head. Hips are not twisting, they're straight. So you're not doing any weird twists. Exhale, release, step forward, fold forward over the legs. Inhale to lengthen through chest. And exhale to fold. Stepping or jumping back, trying to control the jump. And chaturanga, lowering knees or full chaturanga or chaturanga to 90 degrees. Inhale, come up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal through the legs. Let's do the other side. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, sweep between hands. Breath in, crescent lunge. Breath out, warrior 2. Now from here, we're going to straighten that front leg, reach forward, tilt down, Trikonasana. Now, I like to do twisted Trikonasana with my feet a little closer together. So I'm going to shimmy my back leg a little further forward, get my block, place it in line just near my front toe. Right hand comes around onto the block as you twist towards the left. Now, if you've been doing yoga for a while or traditional practices, you might want to do it on the floor, inside your foot, or on the floor outside of your foot. Obviously, that's the hardest option and quite intense for basically all areas of your body. So just do the option that feels the best. Blocks give you the illusion of longer arms and legs. One more breath. Exhale, releasing that left hand. Bend through that front left knee to slowly come up. This protects our hamstring. Turn both feet out to the sides of the room. Thumbs into sacrum, fingers around the hips, elbows back, squeeze the booty, a little back bend, breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Hands come down onto the floor. Maybe you walk your feet a little wider if that feels good. Toes are facing towards the corners of the mat. So Rosso, corners to the corner. Yeah. So you want your knees, when you squat down, to be going the same direction as your feet. That's just a general rule. Maybe you want to walk your hands back behind you, palms on the floor, if you want a little bit more of a fold forward. If you do have a headstand, you're very welcome to take it. If you've got a bulletproof one that you're working on, I prefer not doing tripod headstand. I do the traditional one on the arms. It's much safer in this variation. Inhale, lengthen through chest, and exhale, coming down into the right, Skandasana or snake squat. Left toes coming up towards the roof, coming down. Maybe you're up off your heel in that right foot, or maybe you're sitting a little higher. As long as you feel that stretch, it's okay. If you did it on the other side, maybe you have a bind that you want to play with. Hands come down onto the floor. You can work doing this without your hands if you're working on strength. Inhale, come back through center, and exhale to the other side. Toes to the roof to get through the hamstring. Hands at prayer or bind. Whatever option feels better. You don't have to choose the most advanced version of every pose. Hands to the floor and gently walking back. Come to center, rise up halfway, hands on the hips, breath in. Exhale, bend through the knees, slowly roll up as we turn both of our feet towards the back of our mat, coming back into pyramid. Step your back foot halfway up to meet the front, so you're halfway. You're on your train tracks, same thing again. This is for space in the hips. Hands on the hips, tilt the hip bones forward, the back stays straight. And then from here, you can, if you want to have a play with binding the hands, you can do that. Otherwise, hands on the floor, reach forward and fold. Really nice here to also use one or two blocks if you're still working on keeping that back nice and straight and folding forward. So blocks don't make us any less yogi. They sometimes just help us access a pose that otherwise we wouldn't be able to do without damaging or stretching something in the wrong way. Gently coming up halfway, we come into our twist. So place the block just near that right foot, just under the shoulder. The left hand comes onto the block as we twist towards the right. That's your option one. Option two, the block comes onto the outside of the foot. This is going to deepen the twist coming through the spine. Or if you've been practicing for a while, hand can come to the floor inside the foot or outside the foot for the twist. Release neck and head. Reaching tall through that top arm. One more breath. Exhale, release the top arm, fold forward over the legs, ragdoll, grab the elbows, and gently rock from side to side. Rolling up through the spine, hands come up. Ross is facing the wrong way. What did I do to you? Inhale, hands up. You're my favorite, Rosso. And exhale to fold. That's when I know if I've done sequencing problems, when he's the wrong way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step or jump back and flow. High to low plank. Inhale to up dog. And exhale to down dog. Look between the hands. We're going to do a little jump through. So we're going to bend through the knees, squeeze the pelvic floor, and try to get a little control to jump into a cross-legged position. The feet sweep forward, come up to meet in our Navasana boat. So you can bend the knees. This is a gentler version of the pose, holding the back of the legs. Release the hands, makes it harder, or straighten the legs makes it harder. Open the chest. Just like our breath in the morning or in the start of the class, we're going to lower our feet 1/4. Breathe in, pause. 2/4. 3/4. 4/4. Rise back up. Tricked you, didn't I? Now cross the legs. We're coming into butterfly pose. So the toes come together. I'll do it this way so you can see me. So the bottoms of the feet come together, knees out to the side. You can place the hands around the feet and gently open them like a book. You've got a couple of options here. If you have tweaky knees, you can place blocks on either sides of your knees so that they don't get pushed beyond their range of motion. It's a great option if you do have tweaky knees. We're going to reach up, so pull our chest forward and down. So doing this, you're going to telescope through the back of your body. So you're reaching forward, pushing your elbows into your quads or your calves, wherever they reach. And as you pull forward and down, you fold. Now, you don't have to have your head touching your feet. It's more about keeping that back nice and straight. And we're really getting into these hips here. If you have your feet further away from your body, it's easier. You'll get lower. If you have your feet closer, it's harder. So you can pick your own adventure. Have a couple of breaths here. Be mindful of the knees, and if you do have a knee that's a little funny, just support it with a block. Gently rising up. Wide leg forward fold. So we're going to spread out the legs here and shift the hips forward and fold forward over the thighs. So I have a pretty not a very advanced fold forward at the moment. So a good way to help you is to remove the glutes from on the sit. So you're sitting on the sit bones and tilt your hips forward, reach through the chest and have a little bend through the knees if you need, if you have a very tweaky hamstrings. That helps me. I'll do it this way. See me. If you do have a really tweaky knee, you can place a block underneath the knees as well. If you do have issues with your hamstring and you don't want to overstretch it, just options. We stay in this one a little longer because it takes a while to release. Wiggle through the toes a little bit. The nice trick is to inhale to reach through chest, place your hands on the floor and almost pull yourself forward up. So you come out of the pose and inhale forward and then you exhale fold. It's a little trick. It tricks the muscles to release. If you're feeling any sharp pain, that's not a good feeling. You should feel a slight pulling pain, not like pulling sensation, but not pain. So if there is pain in the hamstring or the back, that is an indication from your body saying stop. And I'm getting that through this hamstring, which I overstretched, trying to do something my body didn't want to do. So I have to take it easy now for a while. Release neck and head. Maybe give yourself a little nod or shake of the head to make sure that it's nice and relaxed. Maybe make some space between the teeth and make some little circles with the jaw. Walking the hands up. Place your hands behind your knees. This just supports you to bring your feet in without any damage to your hamstrings. And we'll fold forward over our legs. If you grab the backs of your ankles and you'll wrap your forearms around the backs of your calves and your elbows are almost behind your knees. And then you exhale to fold forward even more and start to straighten the legs. So you're really bringing that chest down onto the quads and then using the elbows and the forearms behind the calves to pull yourself closer and keep your back as straight as you can. Gently releasing. Feet come wide on the mat. We're going to come into a squat. So we're coming into Tittibasana now. So if you can come with me and see how you go with it. If you don't like it, just come into crow practice. So come back into your squat. We're going to bring the left arm underneath, so it's almost coming behind the left knee, and then the right shoulder the same. So the right shoulder comes behind and the left shoulder comes behind. The hands come flat to the floor. Move your feet closer together. See if you can place your palms on the floor and then bend your elbows a lot, and then sit your hamstrings on your upper arms. If you can do that, you can move your feet closer towards each other. Maybe they can have a little bind, and then you can start to lift up. So this is option 1 with bound feet. Option 2 is harder. If you have open hamstrings, you might have better luck than me. So you can start to straighten the legs into Tittibasana. Now, my legs don't go straight, but some of you might get there. The more that you sit back, the straighter your legs will get. There is an option to also bring the feet back and come into a crow. Probably not going to be getting there today, but just have a little play with whatever one is at your edge. And if that was just way too freaky, you can just play in crow. So come into a little crow, or even not even bringing your feet up, just leaning forward and getting used to that sensation. Just have a play. If you want to see what I just did again, for those of you who do, bring the shoulders behind you, hands on the floor, sit back onto your upper arms, move your feet together, bind them, raise the feet, play with straightening them. Then you bend the feet behind you to crow. Just a little transition we can work on this month. And when you've done that, we'll come into a fold forward when you're ready and pedal out the legs. So bending one knee and straightening the other. Bend through both knees slowly, stand up. Coming into balance. I'm going to raise the right foot up, and you have a couple of options here. You either stay here and grab the shin, or you can, oh, Ross, my lovely assistant, is so fantastic. Thank you. You can use a strap, or you around the ball of the foot and extend it, which is a nice option, or interlace the finger around the big toe and extend it out. I'll use the strap today. So extend the foot, hold it here, hand on the hip, push through the heel, open to the side. So if you are opening to the side, a few things will make a difference. Your heel going towards the side of the room is going to make it more intense through your hamstring. The more you lift your leg, the more intense it is through your hamstring. So you've got a couple of options. One more breath. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bend the knee, drop the strap. Don't let the knee go to the floor yet. We're going to extend through the leg and hold for 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, bend the knee. One more. I do this because I love you. Extend 3, 2, 1. Sweep behind you, airplane pose. Woo. Flex through that back foot, hips are even. So drop that right hip a little bit. Gaze towards the floor. Standing leg splits. Love it. Try to raise that top leg. Place your weight into your hands. Come onto your tippy toes. Option to stay in your standing leg splits or work on your handstand, trying to do some little jumps up. You don't have to get much air time, but you just have to have a play. So see how you go. Otherwise, just stay in your standing leg splits and just hold it there. We'll stay for one more breath and exhale. When you're ready, coming down, folding forward, pedaling out the legs. Maybe there's a little twist. Let's do a twist. So the left hand onto the floor, opening the right hand to the roof in your forward fold. So we're twisting through the spine. Exhale to center, other side. Lift the left arm up, bend through the right knee to allow you to twist. Exhale to center. Bend through the knees, roll up. Standing on the other side. Left knee comes up, flex the foot. Option 1 is around the shin. So you just stay here. Option 2, fingers around, or a strap was option 2, or option 3 is fingers around the big toe. Extend the leg out. I place the hand on my hip because it makes me feel a bit more balanced. If you like your hand out, that's cool. Extend out to the side. Ooh, this one's a bit unsteady. So pushing through that heel will stretch me more through your hamstring. You want that shoulder to be sucked in nice and tight into the socket. It's not like pulling in any weird directions. Raise it up, makes it harder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, lower, bend the knee. Lower the strap, but don't lose this. One more breath. Exhale, extend out for 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, lift it up. Extend out for 3, 2, 1. Sweep behind you. God, that hurts. Aeroplane. Flex that back foot. Even the hips. Lower that left hip. Standing leg splits. Hands come to the floor. Raise that left foot up with strength. Push through that right heel for a moment. Now come up onto the right tippy toes. Look where you want to go ahead of you. Option to stay here or have little handstand hops. So doesn't matter if you get airtime or not, just have a play. Because what this does is just going to raise your heart rate. And when you've had enough, come into a ragdoll and move side to side. Bend through the knees, rolling up. Hands come up through heart center. Reach up over the head. Exhale to fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, hands to floor, step or jump back. High plank. Option to lower the knees. Chaturanga. Breath out. Breath in, up dog. Breath out, downward facing dog. Look between the hands. We do that little jump again. Bend through the knees, control the pelvic floor. So squeeze the bathroom muscles. Get a little bit of height, squeeze the pelvic floor, land in a seat. Navasana. Straighten the legs, open the chest, or knees are bent. Exhale, bring the feet down. Left foot forward, right foot into the side, into a half forward fold. So remove the padding from underneath the glutes. Reach forward through the chest and fold over the left. So we try to keep that chest open rather than rounding too much. See if you can release your head a little more. Just let it be softer. Maybe that space between the eyebrows is softer too. Gently walk the hands up. We swap sides, so we straighten the right leg. Left knee bends out to the side. Remove the padding. Rise up and fold over the right. It's always one that's a little tighter than the other. Just observe that. And if that is not for you, that's great. Close the eyes if that feels good for you and allow that to bring your attention to your breath. So Ross would ask me, why do you tell people to close their eyes all the time? And it made me realize that I probably should explain it more often, and it is the reason because we're not distracted by what we're looking at, our vision, or things that are stimulating us externally. We're only looking inward, and often that allows us to focus on our breath and the environment inside. Gently walk the hands up, cross the legs. We're going to do a little jump back option, otherwise just meet me in plank. Hands forward, a little spring back with control. Just an option, don't have to do it. Move forward and down, chaturanga, option for knees on floor. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Ready for a little jump through. Look between the hands, bend the knees, or just meet us in a cross-legged position. Jump through, Navasana, boat pose. Other knees are bent or straight. And exhale, lower that right foot, left leg straight. This time, I'm coming into half hero version, which is when you have the opposite foot, top of the foot on the floor. As we prepare, remove the padding underneath the glutes, reach up and fold forward over the left leg. This is just a bit more intense. If you do have tweaking knees, do a half fold forward like we did on the other side. Just make sure you look after that knee. This will just be a more intense stretch through that left side. And it's absolutely fine to go back to the version we were doing before if this doesn't feel nice on the knee. We're here for a little shorter this time. Gently walk the legs up. Take that right foot out from underneath you, straighten it in front of you and swap for the left. So the foot the top of the foot is flat to the floor. Make sure both of your sit bones are on the floor, so the foot is to the side of the body. As we reach forward, lift up and exhale to fold forward over the right. Here for 3 breaths. See if you can use that to move you a little further into this version. Gently walk the hands up. Bend that knee out in front of you. We're going to jump back. So cross your legs, otherwise just meet us back in plank, okay? So try to control the jump back to plank. Option to lower knees to floor, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. We're doing our jump through again with the Navasana boat pose. Look between the hands, bend the knees. Options to step or to jump through Navasana boat pose. Knees are bent or straight. Open the chest. Now cross the legs and bring the right knee in. So this time it's a different version. We're going to come for a bind. So again, you can come into a normal fold forward, the first version or the second one if that feels better. If you want to come to the bind, we're going to reach behind and see if we can bind our hands behind our back. What it looks like from behind is this. Now, if this doesn't feel good for your shoulder, please don't do it. And then from here, we reach forward with the chin and down towards the knee on the left. This is going to get through more of your back than the other versions. And again, listen to your body. Your body is boss. Don't just do this pose because I'm telling you, if your body says, hell no, this doesn't feel nice, please listen. Gently start to roll up with your spine first, then release the hands. And now we'll swap sides. So straighten out the right leg. Left knee comes in. Sweep behind with the left arm. Bind behind you. Reach up through chest. And exhale to fold. And see if you can use your breath to elongate through the spine and to fold a little more. And if the bind just feels horrible, please go back to whichever version felt best for you. Gently start to walk your hands up. Cross your legs, jump back in any way that feels good, or just step back into a high plank. Move forward and down, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. We'll have a little twist here. So the right hand grabs the left ankle as we twist the spine and also through the shoulders. So looking under your left armpit, twisting that back. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left arm reaches behind to grab the right ankle, twisting under the body, gazing under the right shoulder. Coming back to center, taking a few more breaths in your down dog. Looking between your hands, option to step or jump forward between the hands. And place the feet on the floor, open the chest, and we're going to slowly roll back. So imagine your spine is like a chain that you're lowering onto the floor, and you're lowering each vertebra at a time. So keep that chin tucked in, try and keep the feet on the floor as long as you can, control through the core, keep tilting that tailbone, and slowly rolling down. Back bends. So tickle the heels. We have a couple of options. If you're working on glute strength, if you know you have issues with your glutes not activating, I'd like you to grab a block, place it between your thighs, squeeze your quads together, tickle your heels, rise up. Keep squeezing the glute, keep tilting the tailbone towards the heels, activating through all of the legs. Maybe you interlace your hands behind you and open your chest by rolling your shoulders under, pushing your hands into the floor if that feels good. You don't need to have that extra chest opener if it doesn't feel nice. The main thing is you're squeezing that block And you'll lift the toes on the feet. The rest of the foot is flat to the floor, but just the toes up. This is going to activate these little muscles up the front of the shin that protect the knee. Let's hold for another 3 breaths. Stay active, wrapping the glutes around the hips to extend the hips towards the roof. And gently release the hands if you had the bind. Come onto your tippy toes and slowly lower upper back, middle back, lower back to floor. Remove the block and screen wipe the legs from side to side. You have a couple of options here. You can come into another bridge with a block, or if you feel warm enough, you can come into a wheel. So if you do want to come into wheel, I need to work on my back bend, so I'm going to do it today. Place your hands behind your shoulders, and you want to keep your elbows in towards your body. You don't want them to flare out to the side. You're welcome to come into bridge or wheel with me. So elbows towards the roof. I prefer you not to come onto the crown of your head first. We're going to go straight up. Take a breath in to prepare, and exhale, not catching your pigtails. You come up into your bridge. So if you're in your bridge one of your first times, if you come up onto your tippy toes, it makes it easier. This makes the bend through your back less intense. Squeeze your glutes. If you want to work on actually deepening your back bend, you actually will have your heels on the floor. This makes it much harder. Try to straighten through the arms as much as you can over time, or little push-ups. Wheel push-ups are actually really good for building strength and also giving your back a bit of a break from having such a deep bend. We'll go for another 3, 2, and 1. Chin to chest, slowly lower down. Upper back, middle back, lower back. Knees TP in together as you sink the lower back into the floor. If you're in your bridge, please come down to meet us here as well. A windscreen wipe the knees from side to side. Inversion. We'll come into shoulder stand. If you're working on handstand, pincher pose, this is your opportunity to do it now. So if you're coming with me, restful inversion, you can just pop a block under your sacrum and feet up. That's a great option. Or shoulder stand. So if you're doing shoulder stand, you want to keep active through the legs, flointed feet between a point and a flex. Squeeze the legs together, active through glutes. We're not just hanging out with the legs being all saggy. Flex the feet, come over the top of the head. If they're flat on the floor, you can lower the hands behind you on the floor and push against the floor like brakes. Otherwise, your hands stay behind your back. From plow pose, place your hands onto the floor and then slowly start to unwind your spine onto the floor, using your hands as brakes and your core strength to take it slow. So we're not plumping down. And gently lower your feet to the floor and your legs out. Supine twist. Inhale, take a breath in. Exhale, bring right knee into chest. Pull it in nice and tight towards the body. Exhale over the top of the body. Gaze towards the opposite side of the room or just towards the roof. We stay here for a couple of breaths. Done a lot of fold forwarding today. And a good way to counteract that is to have a twist. So we included a lot of twists in today's classes as well. And we'll stay here a little longer than normal to make sure our back is nice and happy for our Shavasana. Inhale back to center, straighten the legs. Exhale, left knee into chest, pulling up gently the knee towards the chest. And exhale to the other side, supine twist. Gently coming back to center and finding your final resting pose, your Shavasana. And you're welcome to stay here a little longer if you wish. If you want to exit the class with us, you can start to gently deepen the breath. Maybe licking the lips and gently moving the head from side to side. If it feels good, you might want to reach your hands over your head and stretch from tips of fingers to bottoms of toes, reaching through the spine. Exhale, bring the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a hug and pushing that sacrum into the floor. And then maybe there's a little rock from side to side or little circles with the knees. When you're ready, rolling onto your favorite side, keeping your eyes closed and using your bottom arm as a pillow. Gently pushing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes remained closed and hands resting on the thighs. As we go back to that breath, the anchor of our yoga practice. And in these times that are challenging to us mentally and physically, knowing that the breath is always there, a constant tool to bring us into the present moment. And even though our ego fights us at finding peace during times like this, a few minutes sitting with the breath and closing the eyes and taking that attention inward can really help with feelings of anxiety and stress. Take a big breath into the belly. Hands come to heart center, exhale. Gently blinking open the eyes, coming back into your room, your home, wherever you are. Thank you so much for your energy today, and thanks for those that also came to Brave Sculpt and also came into this class. You guys did really well to do both. I hope you enjoyed the class, and I hope to see you all really soon. Namaste. See you on Saturday. Classes are running as normal, and we'll have updates with some different things over the weekend with how some things will be changing during this current period, but you'll hear from us. Namaste. Have a great evening.